Well, hello, vinyl community, music community, Beatles community. How you doing? It's Matt, and I'm back for another video. And this is going to be my entry into the final done review of the new Beatles White Album release. The new anniversary edition, 6 CD, Blu-ray, new mixes by Giles Martin. It's here, I have it. It finally came in the mail. So I said to myself, well, Matt, what are you going to do? You're going to do an unboxing video at this point? I mean, this thing's almost been out for a week. There's been other people out there that have done unboxing videos. They've done them much earlier than me, and they've done them much better than I could do them. So I'm going to let that go. I'm not going to do a big unboxing. It's already unboxed. It's here, along with my t-shirt. I ordered this t-shirt with it. Pretty cool little t-shirt. I'll try to show you. There's the Beatles down there. Okay, you probably won't see that for much of the video. So anyway, this is my little Beatles t-shirt official that I got with my box set, so I thought I'd wear that today in honor of it. So what I thought I'd do today, folks, is instead of doing an unboxing, instead of doing like a big long drawn out review of it, I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version. I'm going to just do a short quick review of this thing because I've been listening to it for almost a week. I have the Spotify program. You can get many different services where you can stream music and listen to music. Some of them you have to pay, some of them you don't. I happen to have Spotify, and so the day it came out, it all popped up. All 107 tracks on this baby popped up on my Spotify, and I've been getting into it intently for the past almost a week, since last Friday. So I think I've listened to it numerous times. I'm talking definitely more than 3 times. I'm talking when I'm in the car at work or when I'm here at home. I've been listening to this thing just on and off all week. So I've got a good foundation of what I think of it and some of the highlights I've got in my head of what I'd like to point out to you. So I'm going to get going on it, okay? I can tell you what I think of this remix. We'll do the Reader's Digest version, get you out of here quick, and you'll be all set. So what do you think of that? Anyway, but before we go forward, let's go back a year. Let's go back to this, okay? This was brilliant. This was fabulous. This is an A+ in my book. A+ right here for this. You all know what this is. This is the big one. This is the big Sgt. Pepper Super Deluxe release from a year ago, okay? And you know how excited we were about it. You know how fabulous it was. And I wanted to pay homage to that a little bit and have it standing right up here next to the new White Album release because, folks, I cannot be happier with the way these releases are going. It's happening. We've got the Sgt. Pepper one, and a year ago we weren't sure. We were still up in the air about were we going to get more? Was Giles and the crew going to do more releases for us? Was Apple going to allow it? Would the Beatles allow it? Would it be happening? And lo and behold, folks, it's happening. We've got the White Album. We've got Pepper. They can't stop there. They've got to keep this going. So if this was brilliant, this is just as brilliant. All right? Just to give you my quick thought on it right away, this is brilliant. Fabulous. I love it. It's a beautiful package. I opened it in a way that I can get everything off. Show you if I can do it here. There is a way you can keep the shrink on and still be able to get the plastic part off if you want to keep your shrink. I was able to do it down at the bottom. It was pretty easy. So that's what I've done. I've kept the shrink on it to protect it. And opened it at the bottom. Here's all the song lists on the back. Don't worry about all that. You're not going to be able to read it. I can barely read it as it is. So put that back there. Oh, my number, by the way. I thought I got a pretty good number here. I'm number 880. You see that? 880. That's pretty low, huh? I would think. I don't know how many of these guys they made, but number 880. I'm happy with that. So I'm under 1,000. So that's good. All right, let's get a good angle on that here. Okay, so let's get into it. The new remix. I love it. I'm giving it an A. Now, albeit there is some miscues here and there. Some of the other people that make videos out there have pointed out some miscues here and there. Some things they wish were a little punchier, little parts that they thought would be more forward. A couple of things they wish were back a little bit more. But I'm just going to, like I said, Reader's Digest version. I'm just giving you the overall. I give this an A. I give the remix an A. You feel definitely closer to the songs. You feel like you're right up in front with the songs. You got better bass, punchier bass. The drums kick butt here. Thank goodness for Ringo that he's finally getting his due. He got it with the Pepper release, and now he's getting it with the White Album. The drums are more up front. They're punchier. The vocals are front and center. I mean, some of the songs like Dear Prudence and Martha My Dear and a few of the others, just the whole thing. The vocals are right there. Long, long, long. George's Long, 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 which you could in the past. Had a tough time. The vocals I thought were always a little too low. They're right up front now, or maybe not as up front as some of the other songs, but they've been brought up just enough to give it a little more clarity, a little better. And I love it. I think it's Giles did a great job with doing that with George's vocal on Long, Long, Long. So the vocals are front and center. They're great. Bass, drums, great. You almost feel like what I get with this is, with Pepper, I felt like I was in an amphitheater and a whole big giant orchestra was in front of me and the Beatles were right in front of me on a stage. And I think I mentioned this in my Pepper video, and I felt like I was sitting back right stage front and center at this amphitheater as the Beatles and this big orchestra played Pepper for me live. That's how crisp and clear this was. With this one, I feel like the feeling I got when I was sitting listening to it was, I feel like I'm in Abbey Road Studios with the Beatles, and they've got me in a lounge chair sitting right in the middle of the studio at number 2 Studios, and they're all around me, all set up doing their thing, and I'm just sitting back with my eyes closed as the Beatles play live for me. That's how I feel about this mix. That's how I feel. You just feel like you're in the studio with the Beatles, not in an amphitheater, a big, large amphitheater with a stage like Pepper. With this one, you feel like you're right there in the studio, sitting back with your eyes closed, just relaxing, and the Beatles are playing for you live. That's how it feels. It's just so, this album is just so stripped down. It's just a bare essentials album. It's the opposite of Pepper. And I know other people have said that, where Pepper was more grandiose and layered sound and painting images with colorful sound, you know. This one is just more raw and rocking and just in your face, and they're right there with you, and then they're next to you and they're playing. I just can't stress how much I love the mix. Okay, perfect mix. A on the mix. Escher demos. Wow. Now I have an old CD here. I got this CD a million years ago. It's called The Beatles Unplugged. You like Beatles Unplugged? Kind of has a White Album look to it on the back, and I don't think there was much in the inside now. Very plainish. Okay, The Beatles Unplugged. It's an old CD, and I remember having this couple of decades, at least 2 decades. I've had this. And I remember having this and going, oh my goodness, you know, hearing those Escher demos here, going, oh, I just wish they sounded better, because this would be a cool standalone, great standalone album just by itself, I used to say. If I could have like this as a standalone Beatles album, perfect sound, that would be great. Because this is kind of crappy sound, folks. It's listenable, but it's not something you would like play for your average schmuck out there and say, hey, you want to hear the Beatles Unplugged and put this on? They'd go, yeah, it's okay. It's nice to hear them banging around on their acoustic guitars, but it's not that clear. It's not that crisp. Not anymore, folks. The Escher demos on the new releases are just wow. Okay? It's just, they just sound so fabulous. Some of the highlights for me are the stuff that was at the end of them, like the stuff that wasn't released, unreleased songs like Sour Milk Sea, Junk, Child of Nature, Circles, Not Guilty, Polythene Pam, Mean Mr. Mustard, those kind of stuff. The ones right at the end of it, I mean, I love all the other stuff too, don't get me wrong, but that stuff at the end really blew me away. The stuff, like Sour Milk Sea is a song, I've always loved Jackie Lomax's version of Sour Milk Sea with George, Ringo, Paul, and Nicky Hopkins, I believe, playing on Jackie's studio version. And to hear now the unplugged Beatles Escher demo of Sour Milk Sea just blows me away. It's fabulous. I love it. So I love the Escher demos. They sound fabulous. They sound clear and crisp, and they're so good now that now you could, you know, have someone listen to it and go, hey, you want to hear a little standalone album of the Beatles kind of unplugged? And people could listen to this now. Anybody could listen to it and go, wow, that's pretty good. That sounds great. So I love the Esher demos. I love them. A. They get an A. Okay? Now the sessions. Can't go through all the sections with you. All I'm going to tell you is, I know there's always going to be people that say, should have done this, should have done that, should have included this, should have not included that. I get it. I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to look at it for what it is. And for what it is, I love the 3 session CDs. I love them, love them, love them to death. Okay? Highlights for me are the Good Night Unnumbered Rehearsal, which many people love. Yes, it's very rough, but it's beautiful. It's so beautiful to have Ringo singing a rough vocal with the 3 Beatles behind him harmonizing, trying to work out if maybe that would be like a final version of it. It ended up not being the version that they finally used, but wow, something like that, which I've never heard before my entire life in any form, is just blows. That's the kind of stuff on here that blew me away. Because some of the stuff, let's face, we've heard it before in maybe lesser quality or on other releases, like a couple of them were on Anthology and whatnot. But I just love the sessions. I even like the rehearsal stuff. I know some people didn't like them too much, the instrumental backing track stuff, I should say. But I did. I like the stuff like Birthday. There was Savoy Truffle back in the USSR, Revolution, Piggies, and Wild Honey Pie. Not Wild Honey Pie, regular Honey Pie. Blew me away. The ones without vocals. I know, you know, some don't care for that kind of stuff, and that's fine. I respect that. But I like them. I really enjoyed, especially Honey Pie. You put that on and it sounds like something you could, you know, like you're listening to something from the 1920s or 1930s, you know, just a little cool little instrumental backing track. It just sounds so wonderful. I love those instrumental backing tracks. And the rehearsals, let me get back to that. I did mention rehearsals. I know I'm kind of excited here all over the place, but I'm just so pumped up about this release. Rehearsals like Cry Baby Cry, Revolution, Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except Me and My Monkey. Those are like so excellent. Just to hear the Beatles banging them out and running through them together, you know, rehearsing them. It's just so cool. It's almost like they just walked in the room, just plugged in, and let's go. You know, they're a little rough, but boy, they sound wonderful, don't they? Love those. Hey Jude, Take One, that's another highlight for me. Gotta mention that. It's rough again. I keep using that word rough. Some of these things are a little rough, but they sound so wonderful. That's what makes them so special. They're just so immediate and so just that live, no overdub feeling to them, and I just love that. And Hey Jude, Take One is one of those that just, you know, I'm kind of burned out on the regular Hey Jude, if you know what I mean. You get kind of burned out on songs that are overplayed and played on the radio all the time. But wow, to hear Hey Jude, Take One just knocked me out and just brought me back to it and said a whole new appreciation for that song and what it means and how important it is. So if anything, this set has done that for me. It's brought me back to my appreciation of the Beatles, and especially the songs that are so common and we hear over and over again. But now to hear them in all these different forms on this package, it brings you right back to the roots again. It brings you right back to the foundation, and you have a new love and appreciation for them and their music. And so I thank these box sets for that. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, the third version, I think it's Take 27, the one where they're just like running through the song with Clapton. Love that. That's just a cool run through, and it's fabulous. Can You Take Me Back? I think it's the full version of it. I think it's Take One. Awesome. I always love that little snippet at the end of the White Album. But wow, to hear that full version, that full Take One version of it, Can You Take Me Back? Love it. Fabulous. That's another highlight for me. Another highlight for me would probably be Helter Skelter, the second version. I think it's Take 17. I love that. That is just so cool. Now, the first version that's on the sessions, the long plodding one that's like 10 minutes long, cool to hear it, but I could take it or leave it. We had a little version of that, a shorter, much more concise version of that on the Anthology, and that was fine for me. But it's nice to have this one. It's nice to just groove with it and sit back, close your eyes, and get into it. But no, it's not one of my favorites on the sessions. But the other Helter Skelter, the faster version, the rough version, the second version, love that one. That one's fabulous. Highly recommend it. Not Guilty, take 102. Now, I'm not sure if it's the same one that was on the anthology. Maybe somebody can help me with that. I don't know. There's so many supposedly takes of Not Guilty. This one's 102, and I don't know if it's the same, but I've always liked Not Guilty. I like the version on the anthology, and I like the one here. They sound very similar, so maybe the same take. I'm not sure. I love it. I always love Not Guilty. Great song by George. One I've always felt could have been on this album. No, absolutely no problem. So, where does that leave us? Well, that's some of my highlights of the sessions, and I'm going to give the sessions an A. The overall packaging on this, I was like, not concerned, but I was like, what are they going to do with the White Album? I mean, Pepper was so colorful and vibrant and this and that. What are they going to do with the White Album? Wow. This package here, folks, blows me away. You've all seen it, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here, but and open it all up. But, with the slip thing, with the Beatles images like that, and then it's blank underneath, and then the beautiful book with it, and the 4-color images like from the original album, the poster, the way it's all laid out, the design. Hats off to them. Hats off to them. Salute them. Thank you. Great job, Apple. Great job, Giles and Sam O'Kell and all the gang who put this together. This is overall fab, fab, fab. Does that make any sense? It's fab. It's just so wonderful. So wonderful. Overall, remember I said this is brilliant. This is just as brilliant. And when you look at the whole package together, A+. They did it again, folks. A+. Love it. Love it. Love it. Oh, don't want to knock it over. Ooh, that wouldn't be good. A+. This is great. This is fabulous. You're going to love it if you haven't gotten into it yet. You're going to love it, but I can't imagine you haven't gotten into it yet because you got to have it. You got to have it. Get it. Get the White Album. Get it. Just get the little CD with the 3-disc and the Esher demos. Get the double vinyl, which I don't have yet, but I'm hoping to get soon. Get this if you can. Oh my God, it's so wonderful. It's so great to be a Beatles fan. I'm so happy to be a Beatles fan, and I just feel bad for the people that don't get it. Those poor people. They don't get it. They don't understand the beauty and the joy of this stuff. What's their problem? Well, I'm tired. I am so tired. But you know what? I think I'm going to take off Apple Jam over here, and I'm going to get in some White Album. That's it. Where's the adult beverages? I'm only kidding. Please don't think I'm a lush or anything, folks. I'm on one of these, I'm like 2 drinks and I'm done, I'm one of those kind of people, but you know what? I'm going to celebrate, I think. I'm going to pour myself a nice glass of wine. I'm going to toast the Beatles and toast Apple and toast Giles Martin and his gang. Thank you. Thank you for doing this for us. Let's see Abbey Road next year. Let's go. Let it be the year after that. The film, everything. And then let's go back. We got to get Revolver. We got to get Rubber Soul. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. All right. I'm tired. I'm done. God bless you all. Bye-bye. A+, Apple. A+, Beatles. Thank you.